Do you have a camera at home but have no idea how to work the buttons on that camera? Does the thought of going through the manual or even Googling it all stress you out? Well, I'm going to show you 3 settings that will change your game forever. You're watching PhotoStrat TV. I'm your host, James Navarro. Stay tuned. Alright, now before I go to the first button, I'm going to let you guys know you have to have your camera setting on manual, okay? So this works with all DSLR cameras, okay? So no matter the brand, whether it's Sony, Nikon, Canon, Olympus, they're all going to work the same. The only difference is the camera buttons might be in different places. I'm going to show you guys on this one with a Canon though. And how you adjust it and put it on manual is going to be a dial right at the top of the camera. And you're going to see it and you just got to turn that to the M. Alright? Now once that's set, you'll be able to adjust the settings. Okay, now your first button that we're going to go over is going to be your ISO. Now, your ISO is an acronym for International Organization of Standardization. Now, that really means nothing at this point because I'm going to tell you what ISO actually is. It's actually a sensor inside your camera that measures how much light goes through the lens. And it's actually the most expensive piece on your camera. Now, when you start with your ISO, you're going to see numbers. Like, it's going to go from ranging from 100 to 200, 400, 800, 1200, all the way up to 2000 on up, depending on which camera series you have. Now, the thing is, start at 100. Start at the lowest number. The brighter it is outside, or the brighter it is where you're shooting, the lower your number is going to have to be. The darker, the higher the number. Okay? Now, there's only one thing I want to say about that. If you bring the ISO up too high, you're going to mess up the overall detail and sharpness of the photo. So when you zoom in, it's going to be a little blurred out and you're going to mess up some of the resolution. So if it is dark, instead of having to raise your ISO up high, bring some lighting in. So that way you could keep the ISO low as possible. Now the second button is going to be what's called your aperture or your f-stop. Now this is the same button, okay? Now this controls what's called your depth to field. Now, if you don't know what depth of field is, I would definitely Google it and check it out. But to give you an example, do you ever see a photograph of a model or a really good quality photo of someone and they're real clear in the picture but the background's kind of blurred out? It gives the image almost like a pop. It makes them stand out. Now, this is where you're able to control that. And the lower pretty much you bring the number on there, you'll be able to get that effect. The higher, it'll clear and balance everything out. So it'll bring the detail in the background and your subject out. So give this a try. It's a really good effect and it works great with families, models, portraits, anything. Give it a try and let me know what you think. Alright, now the third button is going to be what's called your shutter speed. Now with the shutter speed, you want to ask yourself this one question. Is whatever you're photographing, is it in motion? Like, are you shooting maybe a race? Is it a sport, or is it a car that's going by? Or are you shooting something in still, like maybe a model that's posing, or an object, or even landscape, you know, something that's still. Now, if you're going to be shooting something that's in motion, if you don't have the setting right on this, you're going to get that blur to it. You know, you're going to see whenever they move, you're going to see that blur. It's going to be like tracers. And you don't want that. You want to capture what they're doing and freeze in motion. So basically, if they're throwing a ball, you want to capture that ball frozen in motion. And the way that happens is to make your shutter speed, when it takes a picture, it goes like this. Real fast when you fire. So you want, the faster it goes, the better it's going to capture that. You know, so the quicker it'll take the picture. The slower, it'll leave those tracers, but the slower ones will leave really good detail for stuff like portraits, landscape, any stuff like that. So when I'm shooting models, I have my shutter speed a lot lower. Does that make sense? So when you're shooting something in motion, bring it high. When you're shooting something still, bring it low, so that way it slows down. And that's how you work those 3 right there. Now when you intertwine all 3 of these settings that I share with you, you'll get remarkable image quality. Go out and practice this stuff and do what I call the 8 to 8 exercise. Pick a day that you're off of work or you're off of school or whatever it is that you do. Take a model with you or a subject or just a friend with you to take some photographs all day And from 8 in the morning to 8 at night, I would go shoot all day while the sun's out from up to down and practice these settings. And of course, don't shoot all day. Go out and grab you some lunch, take breaks and whatnot. But when you do this, you're compressing all that learning into one time. So you're really saving a lot of time, and it'll give you a good understanding of these 3 settings, thus making you master it that much quicker. I hope you really like these tips today. Please do me a favor. If you like everything, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Leave a comment with your favorite tip. And also, if you want the full free ebook, go ahead and click on the link below and you'll be able to download a free copy of this ebook of what we just went over and with some extra more detail and bonuses to it. Y'all have a good day.